So, can you see my screen? Yes, let me see. You can see my screen. Just say yes and type CV, CV, CV. Yeah, great one. Yeah. Once in a while, I would like somebody to unmute and just say something. Sorry, I might call your name, but it's okay if you're in a noisy place. You can just type. But I love to know that I'm speaking with people, even though you're responding everywhere, just quiet here. All right, fine. So I think last week we were talking about CVs, and I dropped a post on LinkedIn during the week. That post alone, for you to know that a lot of people are actually going through stuff when it comes to job application. So it is important that you get it rightly here, because after all this training, the learning and all, if you still miss the CV part and the LinkedIn part, the networking part, the mindset part, you will struggle. And I don't want anyone to struggle. See, I think that post, after 1 hour, it gained about 4,000 impressions. By 10 hours, it was already on 10,000 impressions. And I think the last time I checked, it was on 14,000. So meaning it was probably checked or seen by 14,000 people. I don't know, the interpretation of that. But what I'm trying to say is a couple of guys, I mean, all over the world actually engage. And I'm getting more messages now from Indians. I think I've had calls with people from Germany, the UK, here and there. The first person who wrote on that particular post is from a white man from America, and she was like, "You don't know what this had done to me, how this had helped me, or something like that." And because I wrote about people, you can't see words, please. Can you see my screen, please? Somebody said can't see. I think people should try to work on their devices and get used to this thing. Please, sir, the words on the CV are not showing clearly. Okay. You want me to zoom? Let me see. If it's clear now, please do let me know.
It's
Please
clear.
type clear if it's better now, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's better now, sir.
Yeah. Or do you want me to zoom more?
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Okay, okay, that's fine. Good. So I typed down, and I think it was all about the fact that a lot of people are getting rejection emails. Why some people are still getting called upon. I still got a message from a recruiter yesterday, and I think my wife got a lot of calls over the week, and I had two people reached out to me. One had two different job invitation, or would I say invitation? Yeah, suggestion from a recruiter as well. So people are calling, people are reaching out. Why some people are still struggling? Um, and this is what I was trying to push down to them, that there's something you can still do and fix on your CV. So let's quickly jump into it. I showed you somebody's CV last week, and I was just trying to explain what he could adjust. And this is the sample here. Let's start from the first name. I wrote the first name and the last name. Very simple. Location. Now, please, when it comes to location, preferably in my own way, I think I'll prefer you just put. Now, this let me say this before I continue that. When it comes to CV building, there's no one size fits all there, meaning that you can approach it differently, but there's usually a standard, or just understand the logic behind that particular approach. Then you see if it works with you perfectly well or not. Just be different and you still get results. But there are basic things or things that are important that you shouldn't skip. Now, so this is just my own approach. You see some colorful CVs having some sidebars and all sort of things, but I just prefer black and white, no design, just clean. And I'll tell you why. So talking about the first thing here, your first name and the last name, that's clear. The next one is your location. I'm checking my time, so I'm trying to rush down to the end of it as quickly as possible so that we can get to the business of the day. So location, I'll prefer you just put maybe the state, and probably if you're in Lagos, for example, in Nigeria, you put Lagos, country, Nigeria. Now, if you're applying for foreign jobs and you think that might be something that would not make them. Maybe you're trying to get a remote job. To be honest with you, I don't know how it feels. I mean, I work remotely, but not outside the UK. So I don't know how it feels for the people who apply from Nigeria to the UK. But my own suggestion and my advice always is that you should remove your country first. Maybe just put Lagos. I mean, Lagos is not only in Nigeria. I mean, what I mean is there's another Lagos somewhere else. So I'm just saying that maybe you should avoid that. If you think it will be something that will not allow them call you, you want them to see you first. I mean, get to see you or get to see your CV, fall in love with your personality, maybe during the interview. Then you give them tough time in throwing you away. I mean, throwing you off. You understand my idea? Like, you don't want them to drop your CV even without seeing you, because what happens most times when they reject is that they reject the CV, they didn't reject you, but people take it personal. And I understand it's difficult for you to forget that you were not the one they rejected. It was your CV. Because that doesn't mean you don't know what you're doing. That doesn't mean you're not skilled enough. It's just that they didn't see the thing they are looking for or the certain point that CV. That said, your phone number, probably with your country code. Again, it's a dicey thing to be honest with you. But what can we do? LinkedIn, I would prefer you write LinkedIn this way, not with the bold lettering. So I will remove that. See, leaving. Not with the bold lettering. Yeah. So I just want to say that you can hide a link under your the LinkedIn here. You understand? So that you won't need to. So yeah, you can say link and just insert a link here. I don't know if you can see my screen. And so you copy your LinkedIn and then you paste the address here and then you click OK and it will be there. So you don't need to use that long LinkedIn link. And also, do you know you can change your LinkedIn link and just reduce it, because the default one they will give you will be very long. It has your full name, the LinkedIn dot whatever, and then some other numbers at the back. So the characters, long characters, you want to reduce it to just your name, and if it's available, yes, then your LinkedIn address. And then your portfolio link. What do you mean by portfolio? We are still going to get to that, but not today. It's more like a collection of your stuff, like a gallery of your work, what you've done. So it could be pictures. Some people use GitHub, which sometimes is not really like the best place, but it's one common place where people use. Some will build a personal website. Like my personal website used to be my portfolio website, but I then changed it to, I had to edit it and then remove that so that I can people can reach out to me. And it's now my business page now. That's for my own brand. Now I still have my own business running on its own. So I try to separate my business from myself as a brand. That said, so you can put your portfolio link here as well, wherever you hosted. Is it on GitHub? Is it on a website? Is it on Novo Pro? We get to that, like I said, all these other websites. Yes, you can have that there too. You had the same way I added this. Now that said, look at this professional summary. Some people write profile, some people write professional summary, or some will even write profile summary. So by the word summary, to me, is just something that is summarizing a long text, or you get the whole of your work and your experience and all. So when they call it summary, this for me, the indication is that a recruiter can actually stop at this summary and decide to go not to go for further to check the rest of your CV. Now, when they say they check CVs, I confirmed this from my coach and I confirmed from a recruiter, and they said they use 7 minutes and 6 minutes. I think I mentioned it the other time. Sorry, a minute, 7 seconds. So when they say they use 7 seconds or they check your CV only for 7 seconds, maybe not the case every time, but if it happens, then this is what they are looking at, probably the professional summary. They are trying to scan through to see if there's something they need. For example, if they need you in the position of a financial analyst or finance analyst, and then they want you to be a chartered accountant or you have a certification in finance, you want to put that in here as quickly as possible, as early as possible, so that they can see. While you can write the whole of your certification, your certificate, like this person wrote this associate's chartered accountant at the bottom here. If it's the major thing, that is, they would have mentioned it in the job description. You want to have it up there in your summary. So anything that you know will make them fall in love with you as quickly as possible, you want to put it forward. You want to push it forward here. So this is summarizing all your experiences. That is, sometimes you do even tell some of your skills. Now, it is very easy for them to look at this and put it there. In some professional summaries, you see the person put Power BI, so good adept in the use of Power BI, this project management and that. Yes, you can put it here as well. But you can see the person is already talking about visualization, talking about segmentation, modeling, and all. And visualization, we know it's being done, but already the person placed technical skill very close to the professional summary. So only if the person decided to throw a blind eye to this, that I won't see this almost immediately. So now look at this. The dynamic and result-driven data analyst with a background in accounting as a chartered accountant with years of experience. Now, I talk about years of experience. In the UK, for example, if you put 5 years, you're already getting close to a managerial role. I mean, they believe that after 5 years in a particular role, you should be a senior. So we have Ito Babalola on with us here, and you can okay just remove your camera here so that it won't distract others. Yeah, very good. So that said, you don't want to place 11 years of experience, 12 years of experience, and you're applying for an entry level role. I mean, here, I don't know about Nigeria, but it just makes sense to try to be moderate with it, even though you want to claim like you have several years of experience. While it could be something that would probably make them employ you in a place where they are not where they don't have shame. That's what I'll put it that way. Because how can you employ somebody who has 14 years of experience in that field into an entry level role? In fact, that should start making me question your expertise. I mean, you should even apply to that role if you trust your experience and you know you have that. But some people be like maybe it will shoot them up and then you make them stand out. Yes, but it could also work against you. So what I'm just trying to say is be moderate. If you're going to put 3 years, fine. If that's the demand, 5 years, 10 years, it depends on the role you are applying to. Again, you want to summarize your experiences. Like I was saying here, recognize for transforming complex financial data into actionable dashboard. They could have mentioned that in the job description already. So slashing sales, they probably wanted you to come and work in a sales department. So you have like those keywords there. If any one of us know about plagiarism tests now, you will see what plagiarism app do. All those apps does is just to check the match rate between what you have written and your write up, your essay, and maybe what has been published before. If we have a very high match rate, then they will say you plagiarized. So this one is also working that same way, but this time around it's in your favor. If it has 80% match rate, if there is anything scanning it, I'm just saying, people say application tracking system or applicant tracking system, ATS, but not in all cases. It's not as if everybody is actually good with that. How many recruiters actually told you they use ATS, to be honest? So, but even at that, it's still the same way. It's just that something is doing the work for them to make it easier. Even if a human will scan this thing, it's still the same way. It will go through your experiences. But before they go there, you want to catch their attention. That's why you have to make sure you load your professional summary very well. But don't make it go beyond 6 lines or seven. Now, in fact, seven, I'll prefer to say maybe five, six, yes. But if you have maybe the line is just extending to the next one, not 16, not 17, not 10. I mean, it's going to be too long. We are getting to that level where the attention is this span is getting lower by the day. People don't want to read long stuff unless it makes sense to them. And then you're able to tell your story properly. They want to check. Then skilled in this, you can see the achievement here. Response time by 50%, safeguarding critical client deals. This is very, very strong. Skilled in data modeling, segmentation, this and that. Delivering project that afford a remarkable 20% increase in profitability. Now, these are just English and English words. You can use ChatGPT to write all these stuff. But before you summarize your CV, definitely the rest of your CV must be ready. That's why before you talk about professional summary, look at what you have in your CV. It is what you have in your CV that you're summarizing. You can see that 50% is here. You can see 20% is here. So it could be referring to your latest role, like your current role or your previous role. That's like the most important here. For me, I know they can look at where you're coming from. Yes, you need to build a track record. That's why you can start changing. You will see some funny stuff I did here. If I will take you through the story of the transformation of this CV, you will see where we started from, how it wasn't this loaded, But over time, we started thinking about it and then improving the ideas. Okay, now I'll show you some stuff. So here we have the common tools in the data analytics field, precisely maybe in the UK, and what the person can do. Power Query, we've been taught. Database querying, we'll get to that later. Talking about SQL, Power BI, you're using that. Microsoft tools such as Words, PowerPoint, Excel, lovely. Project management, you can read up about that. Data segmentation, yes, it's something we're going to touch, in a little way. Then data analytics, that's why you are here. Tableau is just similar to Power BI in the way they work. And R Studio is talking about a programming language. These are the tools the person can use anyway. So you don't need to have all these ones. If you have more tools, you can add them to your CV. Collaboration, leadership, time management, creativity, design thinking, empathy, problem solving, all these ones are soft skills, very important as well. You need communication, you need collaboration, you need critical thinking as a data professional. That said, professional experience. Again, you can see we have metrics here, but not everywhere. I mean, everybody. I will see people they write by 20%, profitability by 20%, something by 50%. Again, you can see here. I suggested the person should change it to over 20% to show that they are not really sure. Fine, you might say, yeah, as a data analyst, you should be accurate. How many times do we really measure our impact? Do you get the idea? So giving an exact figure every time, and then you see people see some people who actually know about this metric stuff, they'll put it everywhere. I don't think it's cool. Also, it doesn't have to be in percentage. You can be like, oh, I saved the company $3 million. Oh, I did it, I made it, I probably solved one problem, analyzed this thing that generated this, or save time. You can see this one. You stop tracking time by 30 hours per week. Now let's dive in now quickly. Expertly analyze and process extensive financial sales data to provide actionable insight for management and clients. What we've been doing in the Excel part is actually what this person is talking about here. Remember, we've been analyzing sales and supply. I mean, but I think sales, yes. And then those talks we did the other day, where we did with Mr. Bino leaders, Mr. Lawa, John Lawa, well, what she referred to here, tracking sales, talking about profit, discount, knowing the customer that gave us the highest profit. Those are like KPIs that stakeholders want to see. And then, so your CV is already getting set if you think you don't have anything to write. Okay, so you can start thinking about roles that you have done outside this particular um room, outside this boot camp. Start thinking, please. Okay, that said, develop interactive dashboard for data script to streamline operations. You've been developing dashboards. I mean, we started already. And then you know pivot table, so you saw charts the other time. Those are stuffs that relate to. So dashboard is just like you having like one or two, three or four charts on a particular screen or on a page, and you are showing they are all interconnected, showing different KPIs. Yes, and then reduce this device downtime by response by 50%. Again, in that particular thing, maybe in your current working place, imagine they've been doing something. That's why I'm helping people think now, and you've been doing it manually, and then you decided to step in and say, now I know how to use Excel. I think like the CV I showed you the other day, Mr. Idowu's CV. Yes, perhaps they've been doing that thing in a different way. But with the help of your pivot table, you're able to get that done. And then you sorted that out. And the time you spend trying to show them the result of your analysis every weekend or every week has reduced. Then you save time. Do you know time? When you save time, you save money. You get it, because you can then go on to do something else and then you become more efficient. And so improving efficiency is also another thing. And so enhancing professional efficiency. Why am I saying all these things? Is for you to be able to think well about what you're doing or what you start doing now to help. And like I said, if you say you don't have experience, start building it. Of which you have a lot already. Collaborated with cross-functional teams to design and implement financial dashboards. Look at what we are doing in those groups. Remember, this is why I said we should be on groups. And we've been giving some assignments now. I know some people are already collaborating. Somebody dropped a question on, is it the sales department? And then immediately she got somebody who chatted out. or to say, let's work on this weekend. Now, when they ask you at the interview, have you worked in a team before? That is an example of working in a team. What we are doing here is an example of working in a team. The bigger house is an example of working in a team. The smaller department is an example. That department that you are, then you say, yes, I worked in the sales department, I work in the supply chain department, and this is this and this and this is what we were doing. Do you get that? So that was why, okay, let's break this thing into department to mimic a proper working organization. So you can start understanding how this thing works. Now, let me analyze this last point for you. I won't go into details for the rest, but just to tell you that we can pick things. Now, I'll tell you this. This person, among sales stuffs. Now, I will give another example just not to divulge too much information. If you work somewhere, let me say on fresh. When I say fresh, now I mean fresh fruits and all. For some of you who had been selling stuff, probably even by the roadside, your mom is selling fruits. Don't forget that you always sell the ones that have been at home for a very long time. Even when we eat too, if you buy, I love did I say that? Yeah, plantain. If you keep it in the house for so long, it gets spoiled, right? Now imagine you sell stuff like that. You want to make sure that you sell the ones that could easily get bought as quickly as possible. So this FIFO in the recent is just first in, first out. What is that? What is that saying to you that if you have sold something somewhere, you're trying to talk about the fact that you will sell the ones that came in first, because once they've been in, they have to go out as quickly as possible. Otherwise, they get spoiled. So if you have worked in Spa or any place or anywhere before where that was done, maybe not with Excel now, but you know about it. Start to imagine yourself doing that with Excel, even if you have stopped working there. So all you need to be able to do is to defend the fact that you know about that kind of analysis. You get that? And you taking the record, of it can save you hours. At the same time, it can even save you from wastage. Because if you don't take proper record of the products that came in first, or the fruits or the foods that came in first, just like they have expiry dates, it'll be very difficult for you to place them rightly on the shelf. So you want to be sure that you place them well, such that when people are there to buy, especially people selling breads in Nigeria, the expiry date is usually very short, right? Think about that. Yeah, have you ever sold bread before? Think about that. You place those one first, and then you want to make sure that you sell it before tomorrow. Otherwise, by tomorrow, it's not good again, or people won't buy again. So I'm making you think. Let's just continue to think that we can think of ideas and where we've been analyzing unknown to us. Okay. So a lot here, a lot has to do with you can improve yourself. Now, I wrote this here, the day, the start date, and the current date, your previous job. You see what you can do again is that you can decide to change the name of the role. It doesn't have to be maybe analyst every time. You can be an insight analyst, knowledge expert, operation and research. Those ones are still roles that will allow you to do data analysis. So just start thinking. Ask ChatGPT to give you suggestion that, okay, I have done this particular thing. One Indian guy reached out to me, I think this morning, and he was like, yeah, he didn't include that in his CV. He just said where he included only the project, maybe like this boot camp, and then he included all the projects they've done. And I was like, are you saying you don't have any experience? I realized that you said you went to military, you school, you returned, you finished in 2020, but there's no experience until 2024 where you started writing your projects, just project, not even like you work somewhere. And he was like, yes, that the experience is not related. That's why I didn't include it. And I asked him, what are the experiences you're referring to? Trust me, do you know this guy is actually into web scraping? That was even the only thing. There was a particular one that was even closer. I'm telling you, this guy has a lot of experiences. If you the guy use they are not necessary, it doesn't need to put there. I hope let me see if I can still open my LinkedIn. I was shocked. And I was like, well, wow, this is it. So you expect that people will know some things, but the truth is people don't know. It's okay not to know. And it's good he asked me. Okay, so I'm trying to open my stuff so that I can read out very well. He said, good. He said, I can't thank you enough for your time and attention. It's been very helpful and I really appreciate this. This is what we are doing here. And we get, yes, I worked as a web developer manager for 3 years. I have 5 years of experience of 5 years of SEO and web design freelance. What is SEO? Search engine optimization. I'm sure we have experts in this room. Don't we work with data? I'm sure we do. even in your day-to-day activities, not to now talk of somebody who is working, who worked 5 years. And as a manager, web development manager, you must have, worked with data to an extent unknown to you. And this guy said he also is good at web scraping. And web scraping is just, he might have even used that to collect data from a website before. You know, where am I going here? Is to say that you have a lot of experiences that you might not know you have until somebody starts, opening your mind to it. Where am I? So I want to be sure I'm on this screen. Good. So if you are with me, please just type experience, experience, experience in the chat box, please. I want to know I'm not the only one here. So please, even if you're a teacher, you've probably been analyzing your students' results. Maybe not exactly the way you remember we used to have spreadsheets in school. Yes. And you know the person that scored the highest mark using Excel. You can tell, then you sort it out such that if 50 people score, if two people scored 30, then by the time you start counting, you won't start from if that was the highest mark, 30 over 30, and two people scored that, then you mean you have first position, two first position, or you understand, and then you won't have second position, you have third position. That is the analysis. Those are things you can do with Excel. So if you are still teaching and you're like, how can I convert my experience? Start using Excel there, or start thinking about what you have done before that involved analysis. So as a teacher, you are good also with communication. I mean, you are able to break down your topics, your subjects with stakeholders. Who are your stakeholders? Your students. It's a good skill to know because sometimes you can be so complex in explaining things, thinking that our stakeholders, the people, your boss at work, the manager, or the owner of the business, understand the whole data analysis jargon. And you're saying I use VLOOKUP, I did this, I use XLOOKUP. And what's my home with XLOOKUP? Just tell me the most important thing here. What is the result of your analysis? So if you being able to break things down to a small child, to a 10-year-old, is also a skill that is special and is needed in this field. So your communication skill, your storytelling ability. If you have taught in primary schools, in kindergarten, you're very good at telling kid story. You taught in Sunday school in church where you tell children those stories about Jesus Christ and all. That storytelling ability to be able to break complex stuff to children so that they can relate very well is another experience you need. Now that one is talking about your soft skill. So you being able to convert these things matters a lot. So you have to think outside the box. Yes, I mean again, I just read out somebody's experience to you. Now let me tell you this. For some of us who have gone to school, maybe in your even undergraduate or MSc or whatever, people used to forget that their university experience is also an experience. Your school experiences, you can write graduate researcher, graduate experience, or whatever it is. I change it to Balablu here. I don't know if you can relate. And this person did not remember to include this in the CV at all before. And I had to say, you did a project only for the person to tell me she did XYZ, and what she conducted a research on the impact of ease of doing business on foreign direct investment. What that is, I don't even know. But I know I understood when she explained to me, utilizing data from what bank. I'm like, so you did this lovely stuff and you not even remember that it's an experience already. You know, banks, investment, and whatever else, will be dying to have this experience. You do understand? If you did the project, you did the research, and you're able to get results, this is something that will even make them call you, depending on where you're applying to. Apply statistical and data modeling techniques as that's where she got the hard skill. You understand the idea here? You can learn something on YouTube and then you use it for one or two stuffs, and you're able to see in the tech field. We're still going back. We still get to that today. That it's a marathon. You don't have to learn everything at once. You get that? You don't have to. So you have to build on. They won't come and I mean, you shouldn't be tested on everything on day one. It's at the matter of how you don't know what you're going to be solving as a problem. So you can't learn everything. Manage academic workload effectively. This I don't really. But then where I'm going is that even listed is called. I mean, she listed her courseworks, which also could show that okay, you have a good experience like corporate reporting, statistical modeling, corporate governance. When you start hearing those stuff, this could be what will catch the attention of the recruiter or the hiring manager. Let me meet this person. And then talk about This one now, if you know, if you understand it, we'll be talking about P2P market, buying and building trust and relatability. Everybody must have done something like this, peer to peer. An example of peer to peer is when you're playing games, maybe all this betting, I would say, or just playing, and then you're going to give somebody, the winner, a particular a prize, or both everybody contributed an amount, and like, okay, we keep the money in between with somebody who's not playing the game so that if anybody, once we're able to know the winner, we pass the money to the winner. So why they kept it with somebody, I'm just explaining peer to peer here in the escrow market here to somebody is because they need someone they can trust. So some of us who did the crypto thing can relate with it very well. So he's probably referring to PTP escrow market, and then so building trust is very, very important because you can't trust the other person. But all those experiences, people don't remember to put it in their CV. Very, very superb. If you are a business owner, you are a data analyst because you need to analyze your stock very well to know what you're hurting, what you're buying. If you own your business, you are like entrepreneur. Okay, start to think of how you know that you need to go to the market to buy new stuff. You're a fashion designer, you buy your sewing materials, those stuffs you cook, you analyze even the amount of stuff you need to put in the house, depending on how much people come to consume your stuffs. That's analytics. The only thing is you are not using Excel. So you can start doing that, or you can claim that as an experience if you can speak boldly about it. Why I want you to use an experience you've had in the past is because it is very easy to speak about so that you won't start formulating what you didn't do. And it's very difficult for you to create that path in your head. Again, account manager, I wrote mom's shop. Yeah. If you are working in your mom's shop, you probably be staying in a shop to help her do one or two things. Start to think of those things. Now, I wrote here, implemented new accounting tools. Yes, maybe you're the one that started with the record keeping thing. And then instead of them employing somebody else that will come and do the tracking, you did it yourself. If you have not done that, start doing that now. Start to think. If you have problems you can solve around you, partner with management to improve financial reporting efficiency. Who is the management? Your mom. You get the idea. I'm just trying to say that. So you can start thinking, okay. Now, here I wrote uncle's business. Yes, if you have, I think growing up, I stayed with my uncle at some point. So we used to go to his farm together. That said, and so it's usually during the holiday. So that's why I wrote my holiday period. It could be while you were in school, and then you used to go there 3 months or 2 months holiday, you go back. Those periods, what do you do there? You went to your uncle is selling stuff, and then you are helping them. And so you are in charge of the sales. Once you come around because they can trust you, you understand. So instead of the current sales boy or sales girl or sales lady to take that do that alone, you join that. So you're reducing the weekly workload by maybe 3 hours. Instead of everybody to finish by 9 and then go home by 12 because you are taking note of, taking a record of what happened during the day. You started doing that 3 hours before the closing time. So by the time you are done, you just finish up the remaining ones and you're good to go. Yes. And then you're good with sales management. So you're able to put up a record that could help you track that easily. You see, you assisted in transitioning from manual to digital processes. I'm sure you know this very well. That's probably you're the one that brought in the idea of using a laptop or using a desktop computer. And then you help them to install Microsoft Excel and they start using that. And now you want to introduce Power BI. Do you get that? Those are experiences. And so that's what we wrote Uncle These technologies, whatever it is they are doing there, it is yours to think about. Again, you have your degree. If you don't have any, whatever it is you have done before, just put it there. And if you don't, maybe you have zero level, maybe not. Then you have to load it with all the certifications could be gotten on Udemy, on Alison, on Google. Just whatever you don't have, you focus on what you have, to cover up for that. So you can also improve on some other things. But so if you don't have, maybe you have not gone to school, you want to lean towards your experience. I mean, nobody would send you away for real, to be honest, when they see you are a problem solver and you have achieved stuff and you can defend it. If you only need to do a lot of work to get into the room, that's where networking is all about. Do you know there are some people that will need to apply for jobs? Somebody knows somebody and then they will get into the room and they will come and show themselves. Ideally, maybe those people don't have degrees that could get them into that room, but somebody somewhere told someone. And that's where going to events, attending going for networking programs and all those places where you can meet people comes in. You can meet the CEO of one company there, the branch manager of this particular organization, and during the course of your conversation, these are people that on normal day you can't go into their office during the work week and just say you want to see them. They won't allow you in. But you met them at a program, they don't know who is who. So you're like a professional, they're also professionals, and you started talking, and boom. I think I dropped one on the group the other day where Mr. Anthony was talking to a lady who is the CEO of Clever. You get, and then I don't know what happened. They just did what they call uh, giveaway for themselves. But he also was trying to, tent by, himself by saying that maybe it will be their first customer turn data analyst. That conversation could go on from there and it will turn to something else. So network properly. And that's why we recommended the use of LinkedIn. I know you have a lot of questions, but today is not for this. You can ask your questions, drop the questions on the chat box right now. Well, please make sure it's something that will help everybody. What I mean is, I've been explaining this. Just spend time to think about it before you see it as a problem. Because anything you want to say, honestly, there's a way out. Let me help you with the next topic. So quickly, I've stopped sharing my screen. Um, if you've learned something and you know you've learned, just type knowledge there. If you think you grab something from what I've been talking about, you're good. Thank you very much. Yeah, I've gotten responses already. Sir, what about referee? Is it not compulsory in CV? I mean, yeah, maybe. Like I said, it depends on the environment. So what I recommend when it comes to CV pattern and format is to know the kind of CV they use. Different places with different formats, okay, CV formats. What you can do is to go on YouTube, as I said, YouTube, on Google, and type the best data analyst, the best finance analyst, the best stat CV in Nigeria, in the UK, in Canada, anywhere. And then you can see that online. So you can use that as a guide. But I just naturally avoid colors. That's the major thing here. And then the arrangement, some places we prefer maybe when you're in a zone where they really value education, like they are still just falling for that, then you want to push your education forward. If it's also a strong one for you, perhaps you attended Harvard and then you want to use that as a way to enter the room, well, maybe that will work for you. Okay, if that's the main experience you have too, what can you do? You have to put it there. But here, over here, that one. Now, talking about reference, what they do is to ask for a reference or the referee after. And here, what they do when it comes to reference, which you think I think it makes sense. When you say you're getting reference, what they are talking about here is that they want to get to know you or confirm something from your former employer or employers, meaning maybe the last two roles. And if you don't have one, if you have only one, they probably would ask for a character reference to support it as well. So you in school, your supervisor could be somebody they can maybe you claim you have an experience through during your postgraduate, your master's degree, your PhD, during your research, and now you can use your professor, your lecturer in school. That's what we do here. Like, or in the place you worked in the past. That's why you have to get a good recommendation. Like you won't go and meet them, but be sure that you left the place properly, not like you messed up the place and then I hope they won't give a bad recommendation or you understand a bad response. So that's what they do here. So and what they will be requesting for is their contact, maybe their phone number, their email, usually emails. So here they're just taking the email of the your former employer and then they send them messages asking about you from them. That's all. So referees, maybe you can, but yeah, add it to it. I think I used to have referees on my CV in Nigeria, but I don't think I've ever used it. That said,